Yeah, we got to get there before Volksfest ends on September 30th. Visit vw.ca. Volkswagen.
QP. A heartfelt thank you to all frontline workers who showed tremendous bravery during COVID-19.
55 minutes. 55 times we've started this.
Water, parks, forestry, and
I only have one thing to say.
Waste,
That I'm
corporate
gone.
fleet services, and transportation division. You've been there for us all throughout this entire.
I know I was going to fill the hour. Thanks.
The sacrifices you made to keep our city moving forward. From your friends at QP Local 416.
So we are the most attacked channel on YouTube, apparently.
It's the Wowza Savings Event at Food Basics until September 15th. 340 grams.
You got to check out the global news for today. It is the 15th, right? 15th of September 2021. And it's on this site that you're on right now. So if you search for the global news, there's global, national, and global news. It's on this site. Search for it right now. You'll find it. It just got posted up, or it's just live ending right now. Now I gotta fucking tell you all the stupid shit they say. Oh, I know at my school it's mandatory vaccination. They got a test to support it. Oh, it's good that it's mandatory because now the kids that can't get vaccinated are safe. They're dragging you around outside with no fucking nothing to protect you from all the pedophiles that live out there, and they know they all. There's that's statistics and articles that go. There's books of articles about that. No air supply in the fucking schools. No air filtration. Lead and asbestos everywhere. Yes, there is. Brand new brass water fixture contains 1/8 lead, 12.5%. And they go, I support vaccine passports, and I know that some people can't get the vaccine. But all these people talking about, oh, it's my rights, and stuff like that, quote unquote, and stuff like that. If somebody's ever presenting an argument, and stuff like that, they're not presenting an argument. They're trying to play off of whatever the thoughts you're going to let run on in your head. It's all about assumptions and shit. Oh, what are the numbers? 85% have one shot, 79% have two shots. Right, herd immunity is at 65%. Oh, you're right, 2/3, 66.6%. Where have we heard that before? Carbon, 666 is carbon. That's right. You need to stop breathing because your breathing is heating up the planet. It's not possible. You can't insulate the atmosphere to hold the heat in. There's a vacuum outside the atmosphere. What you can do is put dust and aluminum shit in the air, and the earth will cool off a lot faster than you think it will. Hey, it's going from 34 degrees, or I guess we can go by absolute temperature, 27 degrees down to 16 degrees. That's in a matter of hours. From body temperature more than halfway to freezing in a matter of hours. Not 12. It don't take 12 hours. It's 6 or less hours if we're talking about the high and the low. So I don't know what these idiots get out of try to attack us nonstop on the internet. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about your pussy IP sending idiots to come try to pretend to start a fight, acting like they're tough guys. Why are you like flexing and pretending, standing right next to me, coughing and spitting and shit? Like you're dying of a fucking disease right now, acting like you're a tough guy. You got fucked in the ass to get rank. Okay, because that's how Indian Posse does it. Sexual favors for ranks in the gang. Wow. You're not a prison gang. You're not a street gang. So no, it's a street gang. No, you're not. You're always running from place to place. You're not in every city. You're always running from one city to another. And you're a puppet gang. That's the word. And so Hells Angels Manitoba is like, oh, we don't talk to them. You obviously do. So I hold you responsible. I don't give a fuck. It's good that it's mandatory, so now the kids are safe. How? The vaccine was never intended. We covered this earlier, so I keep catching the important bits, and you pedophiles keep attacking nonstop at times where you think I got this planned or that planned. I got nothing planned. So you can find the global news thing on this site. You cannot find the Beijing hour. September the 15th, 2021, global news. Look that up. You'll be laughing. One of these ads is they keep saying no hose, no hose. What? Oh, one of the things in that that edition of Global News will be about a transgender getting killed by their partner or something. And the police are so skilled they don't know what an oxygen machine is till like 4 years after the murder happened. Oh, those are for oxygen. Oh.
John Gotti, CTM Music Group, baby. Woo! Pow! Yeah, we trying to get the paper, I'm just trying to get rich. We do it for the big face, dead presidents. I got Lamborghini dreams, still got Mercedes tips. And yes, I'm a boss, but I'm looking for a mix. You gotta get it, how you live a life is like this. And yes, I need 36, a whole fucking brick. Rolling through the city, got my Louis Lowe's on. And I told these motherfuckers, yeah, I get my smoke on. Cheech, Sean, bust out the bomb, smoking up. All day flipping bricks by the yard. And you can try it too, but don't quit your day job. We'll fix each up and make the times real hard. That's why I got all these tattoo scars. Chilling in the city bar, rolling in the fancy cars. Wearing out the superstar. Yeah, I look like a model. B-I-O-R. Money in the rubber band, stack it till your cap hurts. Yeah, I got the trade palace, got a real loud box. I do my dirt in the dirt, fucking through the broad day.
There is one interesting thing. I might have read about this before, but it's coming soon, the next few weeks or something. Go trains are going to start running all the way to London. That's interesting because it's via rails territory, isn't it? Ontario Police Force, it doesn't specify which one, will now text you if you make an accidental pocket dial, says CTV News Toronto, so it's probably not Toronto Police. Tornado, okay. It says iconic Pickering landmark land spot in the Guinness World Record books. You mean the book of Guinness World Records, the Guinness World Records book? You guys are bad at this. You don't even do a basic background check before you start writing about it. The United Nations said Toronto's the best place to live in the world. Where did they say that? Oh, they did. They did. Google issues warning for 2 billion Chrome users. Forbes. Oh, so you're just advertising the product. 2 billion people use it. Fuck off. They're on the news today. It's Wednesday. I don't know how many days ago we heard about this. Sunday, Saturday, but the Apple thing where they can what's the word? No, what's the word? Zero sum. I forget the word for this. The date, like 0 day hack or whatever. They can just go right into your phone without you doing anything. All they need is your phone number. Really? You do it with a phone number? That's interesting. You didn't know your phone number was tied to your IMEI, did you? Or what, your Apple ID or whatever. Palace confirms Queen Elizabeth sent message of congratulations to North Korea. What? What was that about? Oh, so I don't know. I'm tired of kindness gaslighting. You know, I got a feeling I know what that is. People pretending to be super nice. I'm so sorry I killed off your people. I don't know who the fuck you are, but you weren't here 500 years ago. No, you aren't. You're from here, and this year and that year. Back then, you weren't even a part of this country. But these people hate me. They think they just walk around. Oh, they take the guilt of white shame. No, I'm going to be proud because we killed all these people. You weren't a part of it. You're like O.J. Simpson. You did nothing. A big scary killer. Who'd you kill, pussy? Crazy white boy that killed 72 people, killed Ron Goldman and shit. And whatever, Nicole Simpson?
Yeah, we're trying to get the paper, I'm just trying to get rich. We do it for the big face, dead presidents. I got Lamborghini dreams, still got Mercedes Benz. And yes, I'm a boss, but I'm looking for a mix. You gotta get it, how you live when life is like this. And yes, I need 36, a whole fucking brick. sits, little nigga. I run the dot. Even when I'm OT, my nigga. I run the dot. Nothing gon' change, little nigga. When I'm under lock. Tell every rapper in this motherfucking city that I run the dot. I run this bitch that track and field. Race stripes like you're not the only one back and still. Power couple stand on top of the hill like track and field. Little niggas too young for big max like Happy Meals. Who the best yet? Chocolate blood like we don't text there. In the cut, niggas go what? It's like a check staring. Niggas said boy gon' die, but couldn't get near him. Silent sick, got no sound, like a vet hearing. I'm a killer. If I drop a P, you'll see this rain like yellow. We was in the East Detention Project Plus, that's out the count. When I used to turn myself in with an ounce. From the friend that never would be announced, knocking on far when gathering around the house, I was skeptic. Nigga that said he was playing checkmate. Bleeding out of range, we used to give you niggas headspace. Putting quarter over to get you out of the next day. Blood on my hand, yo bitch, that's how I get lit. Fucking with your shorty, get my priest like He-Man. Like Thomas the Train can't do it, like yes we can. We persist, nigga, we keep six. We can handle this like man or get us some G shit. Set tripping niggas, switching colors like beasties. The money that we putting on you, whether you read with, you'll see shit. But they think ones, all I see is the snake ones. The cats that put work in their pocket and got no cake from. If a bus ain't big and no 6 plus, I'll make one. And if that shit don't come easy, nigga, I'll take some. Nigga, run the dot. Even when I'm on my nigga, I run the dot. Nothing gon' change now, nigga, when I'm under lock. Tell every rapper in this motherfucking city that I run the dot.
Yo, this is Young Lava. We love hip hop.
It's Books Bangetti, Genie, man.
All the fuck these people are.
Welcome to Mi'kmaq Matters, a podcast about the Mi'kmaq people and the Halibu First Nation. I'm Glenn Wheeler.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Rockers. Lying hard like Van Dams on the sand, going ham. My guns don't jam. Uncle friends, last die at the end. Blood dance, take your.
My name is Mike Tyson. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm representing Brownsville. Hi, I'm Michael Jordan. I was born in Brooklyn.
Here comes the pitch, and it comes in wide. On the count now is one.
Grandfather's born in Brooklyn.
Question of the day is, how do you say it's near the hotel in Chinese?
We'll see you tomorrow.
明天见。
Examining the events that impact and shape China and the rest of the world. This is the Beijing Hour, 1 hour of news and information brought to you every weekday. Now here's your host.
To be with you on this Thursday, September 16th, 2021. You're listening to the Beijing Hour, live from the Chinese capital. On today's program, China and South Korea agreed to deepen cooperation. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization marks its 20th anniversary. A national consultation is underway in Guinea. In business, China's factory output and retail sales grow at a slower pace in August. In sports, Liverpool beat AC Milan 3-2. In culture and entertainment, the historic Chinese city of Xi'an invests to grow tourism sector. Now today's top stories. Visiting Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has met with South Korean President Moon Jae-in, and the two sides agreed to maintain the sound development of relations and deepen cooperation as they mark the 30th anniversary of the establishment of bilateral ties. Jack Barton reports.
Wang Yi held talks with South Korea's President Moon Jae-in in Seoul on Wednesday. Wang called for ties to be deepened more quickly, stably, and fully ahead of the 30th anniversary of shared diplomatic relations next year.
Both China and South Korea are close neighbors who are inseparable and are partners who work towards win-win cooperation. We should behave like relatives who frequently visit.
Win-win.
As the meetings were being held, the DPRK fired 2 short-range ballistic missiles into the East Sea, which in turn followed the testing by Pyongyang of long-range cruise missiles over the weekend.
President Moon said he hoped to enlist restarting the long-stalled nuclear talks with Pyongyang.
We hope for China's unwavering support and hope that Foreign Minister Wang Yi will continue to play a big role in supporting our government's efforts to develop South Korea-China relations and denuclearize and establish peace on the Korean Peninsula.
Wang's visit also comes amid renewed efforts by the United States to shore up its relationship with Seoul. Some analysts say South Korea's long-cherished position of strategic neutrality or ambiguity is becoming harder to maintain.
The demand and pressure to choose one country is getting higher and higher on the side of South Korea.
After meeting with Wang, South Korea's foreign minister expressed hope the upcoming Beijing Winter Olympics could bring all nations a little closer together.
We wish that the Northeast Asia relay of the Olympics from Pyeongchang in 2018 to Tokyo in 2021 to Beijing in 2022 will be held successfully as an epidemic-free, safe, and peaceful games, and it will be an opportunity to convey a message of hope for world peace.
That was a report on Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi's visit to South Korea. Wang Yi has pledged China's support for the improvement of the inter-Korea relations and assured that China will continue to play a constructive role to realize the long-standing peace and stability of the Korean Peninsula. His visit comes after both South and North Korea test-fired ballistic missiles. Joseph Kim reports.
Tensions have flared on the Korean Peninsula as South Korea and the DPRK both test-fired ballistic missiles on Wednesday, invoking strong reactions in the region for the latter. The DPRK fired 2 ballistic missiles amid stalled talks between Pyongyang and Washington, showing that Pyongyang has steadily developed its weapons program since talks broke down in 2019. South Korea's military raised its level of surveillance and said it is maintaining a full readiness posture, while Japan's prime minister called the missile launch outrageous. When word came out about Pyongyang's missile tests, South Korean President Moon Jae-in was their very own submarine launch ballistic missile, with Moon saying that the country's ballistic missile program can be a certain deterrent to provocations by the DPRK. While both Koreas have been developing new types of missiles, the DPRK's ballistic missile program have been banned by UN Security Council resolutions.
That was Joseph Kim reporting. Senior Chinese diplomat Yang Jiechi has called on the United States to work with China to bring bilateral relations back on track as soon as possible. Speaking with U.S. delegates from the Democratic and Republican Party, Yang urged the U.S. government to correct its China policy and jointly take positive actions to implement the important consensus of the two heads of states. The U.S. representatives also called for striving to deepen communication, continue to expand cooperation in trade investment, people-to-people contact, and other fields, and jointly promote the positive development of U.S.-China relations. China has condemned the UK Parliament for banning an event which was to be attended by the Chinese ambassador at a parliamentary estate. The UK Parliament reportedly denied permission to hold the event with the Chinese ambassador's participation because of sanctions imposed on some legislators by Beijing. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian said the decision was instigated by some anti-China parliamentarians. Zhao said that China's sanctions on a handful of such individuals were a necessary response to people who spread slanderous rumors, disinformation, and unilateral sanctions imposed by the UK. He urged the British Parliament to rescind this decision and restrain the words and actions of certain members and make more concrete efforts to consolidate China-UK relations. Coming up, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization marks its 20th anniversary.
Would you like to receive the latest news updates about China and the rest of the globe? Tune in to the Beijing Hour every weekday for the latest in politics, business, sports, and entertainment from a Chinese perspective. Subscribe to the Beijing Hour for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
6 minutes past the hour. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization marks its 20th anniversary this year. The regional bloc has grown during the 2 decades of existence to encompass more than 70% of the Eurasian landmass and close to 50% of the world's population. It currently comprises 8 member states, 4 observer states, and 6 dialogue partners. In July, the SCO agreed to grant dialogue partner status to Egypt and Saudi Arabia, with the 2 countries poised to join the bloc later this month. Research fellow Wang Jin with China's Northwest University says this expansion shows the growing appeal of the SCO.
To include Saudi Arabia and Egypt as the dialogue partner of the SCO suggests that the SCO's influence and SCO's role in the Middle East actually expanded. Its influence is not still limited in the Central Asia and Eastern Asia, but also it has already been expanded into the West Asia, even the North Africa. More and more countries, they hope to join the SCO to share their ideas and then to seek the cooperative opportunity to counter terrorism and to seek development as well as to enhance the political trust.
The Taliban takeover of Afghanistan poses a new challenge for the organization, but Wang believes that the SCO offers a viable vehicle for resolving the issue.
Actually, SCO is a very important platform on a very important mechanism for the Afghanistan issue-related countries. Actually, they have this kind of the platform, they have this mechanism to share their ideas, communicate and discuss with each other over the latest developments of the Afghanistan, especially over the counterterrorism, over the limiting of the extremism, and the establishing the kind of the inclusive government in the future.
Wang also sees the SCO going beyond tackling regional crises to play a bigger role in resolving global challenges such as COVID-19 and climate change. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Over the years, the regional organization has gone through phases of change and expansion, both in terms of its membership and influence. Guo Yan brings more.
The Shanghai Cooperation Organization was created by founding members China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. As pointed out by Russia's former envoy to the SCO, Vitaly Radyal, the idea of the SCO was born out of a collective desire for a regional coalition to combat issues such as terrorism and drug trafficking. Regional cooperation through the SCO is in keeping with the spirit which is characterized by mutual trust, equality, and respect. This commitment to the fight against terrorism, separatism, and extremism has attracted other countries in the region to the organization. In 2017, full membership was officially granted to India and Pakistan, expanding the organization's membership to 8 countries. The then Secretary General Rashid Alimov voiced delight with the expansion of the SCO.
Be more stronger in that area, particularly target to terrorism and extremism. It's why India and Pakistan accepted all our convention about this issue.
The inclusion of India and Pakistan gave the SCO one of the largest footprints of any regional organization, with its membership accounting for nearly half of the world's population. With expanding capacity, cooperation under the SCO is not constrained in areas of security. Significant progress has been made in collaboration on economy, culture, and education. Looking back at the past 20 years, researcher Su Cheng with the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences says the SCO has developed a more comprehensive legal framework and cooperation mechanism among member states in addressing challenges. It's also been pushing the reconstruction in Afghanistan, providing aid to the country and offering a platform of cooperation to deal with drug trafficking between Afghanistan and its member states. The SCO is also poised to meet new challenges, as Chinese President Xi Jinping called at a meeting last year for solidarity in areas such as the COVID-19 pandemic and security. For the Beijing Hour, this is Guo Yan.
You're listening to the Beijing Hour. Coming up, a national consultation is underway in Guinea.
The Beijing Hour. The Beijing Hour. The Beijing Hour brings you an hour of comprehensive news and information from both China and the rest of the world. A mix of news, sports, and entertainment. In-depth analysis of the day's big stories, as well as the most comprehensive business of the day. The Beijing Hour. Your very own window to China and the rest of the world.
It's 12 minutes past the hour. The military junta removed Guinean President Alpha Condé, speaking with political, religious, and business leaders this week in an attempt to form a transitional government. Desiree Canon reports.
Consultation between Guinea coup leader Doumbouya and the political parties, the religious confessions, as well as the regional coordination began in Conakry at the Palais du Peuple, the venue chosen for the talks. Among the party leaders, we note the presence of Cellou Dalein Diallo, former prime minister, head of Guinea opposition, and challenger number one of the ousted president, Alpha Condé. There was also a delegation of Alpha Condé's RPG party, led by Kaloum Cissé, the number two of the party. As for the head of junta, Doumbouya, he arrived on the venue at around 10 GMT under heavy military escort. After a 1-hour closed-door discussions, the leaders left the room to talk to the press.
The system that has persisted in our country for 63 years has prevented us from moving forward. Colonel Doumbouya is determined to turn the page on the system once and for all, and that is why we in the Liberal Bloc agree with their speeches, and we therefore undertake to fully support what will be done, while of course remaining vigilant. We had very good discussions. It was the first time that the political class met the military junta. They proclaimed their willingness to make a good transition, and we politicians in their great majority congratulated the military for having stopped the populist and dictatorial drift that we had known in recent times. We think that this time we will all work together to get out of the rut, to set up institutions for new elections in economic stability and respect of international commitments. You know that we have international cooperation that must be respected, particularly with China.
This meeting is part of the consultation undertaken by the junta to draw up the transition charter and the establishment of a government of unity.
That was Desiree Canon reporting. Guinea's military junta has held talks with ambassadors from a few countries during the national consultation. Oman Bunjuna is the Nigerian ambassador to Guinea.
As a brotherly and friendly country, Colonel Doumbouya wished for everyone's support so that the transition could take place in the best conditions. For our part, we are reassured by the step he has already taken in wanting to listen to all the sons of the country. This means that the problem is almost resolved, so we can only rejoice and be reassured in the hope that the transition will take place under very good conditions.
Before his meeting with the diplomats, coup leader Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya met with the civil society organizations. During the discussions, he asked them to accompany him in the transition by making proposals and memoranda. West African leaders are set to meet on Thursday to decide how to respond to the coup in Guinea. The 15-nation economic community of West African states suspended Guinea from its decision-making bodies last week and sent a mission to meet the coup leaders last week. The mission will also report back to the national leaders during Thursday's summit in Accra, Ghana. Ghanaian Foreign Minister Shirley Bachwe, who chairs the ECOWAS Council of Ministers, says they're also working to amend its rules to prevent such situations from happening in the future. The coup in Guinea that overthrew President Alpha Condé is the third one in West and Central Africa
it's already
since
against the
April.
rules.
It's been a month since the Taliban took over Afghanistan's capital, Kabul. Zemaryalai Abbasin looks back on what changes have taken place during this period.
I will never forget 15th of August. I remember that day, the panic in every face I was coming through. There was thousands of people in every square, road and streets, and they had no place to go. They had no idea what's going on, but they were really afraid of Taliban, and the panic all over the country, and particularly Kabul, was going through. So that was a rapid pace. First of all, people were running out because the Taliban are coming to the city. They are already entered, and the president has fled, and there is no government anymore. And then the people got out from their home. They did the second and third, and after that, and the Taliban will, the strange looking between both sides. The Taliban to the people of the city, and the citizens or to the Taliban, the strange looking, the oval-like looking, and then it was decreasing. Then the Taliban was behaving positively with the people and roads when they were checking the cars, and everywhere there were checkpoints and patrols. Finally, people got familiar with the Taliban. They slowly opened their shops, the malls, the restaurants and cafeterias everywhere. Now it looks really normal in the city, and there is no much bad behavior from the Taliban side.
There's been war in Afghanistan for 125
in some
years.
areas, like when there were protests from the women rights activists and the civil society, there were some rude behaviors of the Taliban. It's decreasing now, and the people are getting familiar much with the Taliban.
That was Zemaryalai Abbasin in Kabul. Indigenous people in Canada have long sought recognition and accountability for injustice of the past, like forcible separation from their children. Many have never returned from boarding schools for Indigenous kids. Natalie Carney has spoken to an elder who once attended such a school.
At 82 years old, Evelyn Camille still tends to her garden several times per week. She is also a community elder working at a local school, teaching her band's cultural traditions and its native Shuswap language. Canada calls First Nation communities bands. Originally from another part of the province, like many, Evelyn ended up in Kamloops because of the Indian residential school here.
I was about 5 or 6 when they tore me away from my parents. It was just terrifying. They came in a cattle truck, and they loaded all the students, all the little Indians, and drove us up here. They said it was the law for our children to be educated in the white way.
At the time, the Indigenous people of Canada were considered wardens of the state, meaning the federal government was in charge of caring for them.
Federal government was the parent. They had the legal guardianship over a whole race of people, the Indigenous peoples of Canada. So within that, as the guardians and the parents they felt that residential schools would be the best for the Indigenous students, and so they created a curricula.
For 10 years, Evelyn was taught English, basic math, and religion by Roman Catholic nuns and priests, or black robes, as the children called them. From the very first day, she recalls hearing the rumors of the missing children.
We had heard there was some kids were being sent home, but they never did reach home. We knew the worst, but we didn't want to say it, that they were killed by the black robes.
Preliminary surveying of just under 2 acres of land here at the Kamloops Indian Residential School uncovered 215 unmarked graves. Yet according to the specialists, 160 acres still remains to be surveyed.
They're estimating over 10,000 or more they're going to find throughout these residential schools in Canada. They're looking through the records right now, and they can find the ones officially buried in the Catholic graveyards. But they're not going to find any records of the ones buried in these unofficial graveyards.
A 7-year-old investigation by Canada's Truth and Reconciliation Commission concluded that Canada's treatment of its Indigenous population through their Indian residential schools operated by the Church amounted to cultural genocide. While their 2015 report references missing children, it wasn't until May of this year that experts began surveying the land around schools across Canada. The local Indigenous band in Kamloops have chosen to leave the bodies in the apple orchard where they were discovered. The band is calling for an official apology from the Catholic Church all the way up to the Pope. Meanwhile, Canada has declared September 30th National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, and the treatment of its Indigenous population has become a hot topic issue in this month's federal elections. But for those who survived, finding justice for those who did not is what's most important.
I want the world to know about these babies. I want the world to know that this should never, ever, ever happen to any race.
That was Natalie Carney reporting. Fujian province reported 50 local COVID-19 cases on Wednesday as China continues to battle this new outbreak fueled by the Delta variant. Mass testing, quarantine, and other strict measures are in place to stop the spread. The province has reported over 100 cases since last week. Many of the cases from this outbreak were children. Professor Wu Zhiwei from the Medical School of Nanjing University says it sounds an alarm for protecting children against the coronavirus.
For school children, this is particularly worrisome because children tend to have less sense of self-protection, and many of the public health measures which actually are restricting their activities. In this Fujian province cases, what we learned is that the first thing we have to vaccinate those children. We do have vaccines approved for these age groups. It's very important that we vaccinate them and have their full coverage to give them protections. The second is that I think it's something we have to think seriously to develop an approach in terms of individuals coming back from overseas trips, and then their families, their children, and the children's contact. We need to develop a more effective ways of monitoring and surveying this population to prevent the spreading of the virus.
That was Professor Wu Zhiwei on protecting children against COVID-19. Recombinant protein COVID-19 vaccine developed by China has entered clinical trials in Japan. Meng Qingsheng spoke with developers about the results.
For the first time, a Chinese-developed vaccine has entered clinical trials in Japan. So far, a total of 240 healthy people have been administered jabs developed by Sichuan University in April last year.
We've maintained close contact with our Japanese counterparts on whether the subjects have side effects or not, potential side effects or immunological test problems. We haven't seen any significant adverse reactions at this point.
The vaccine obtained approval from Japan's Pharmaceuticals and Medical Devices Agency in mid-August. It's made from recombinant proteins extracted from insect cells. The technology is believed to be one of the safest ways to produce vaccines.
Recombinant vaccines can be mass-produced within a short period of time. It's much easier to control the quality and remove impurities. Besides this, it also has a higher level of antibodies, and its safety can be guaranteed.
We visited the vaccine's manufacturer, Westvac Biopharma, in the city of Chengdu. It's jointly owned by the West China Hospital of Sichuan University and several other investors. Production was launched in June this year and is capable of producing around 100 million doses of vaccines per year. The vaccines have completed the first and second phase clinical trials in several countries.
In addition to clinical trials in Japan, we have also conducted trials in countries like the Philippines, Indonesia, Kenya, and Mexico. The number of patients admitted is very large, and we hope to complete phase 3 clinical trials in the near future. Based on our laboratory data, this vaccine has been effective in coping with the Delta variant. We're confident it will be successful.
The latest figures show over 50% of Japan's population have received 2 shots of a COVID-19 vaccine. As clinical trials come to an end in the coming months, the recombinant vaccines may help alleviate the country's pressure to contain the virus.
That was Meng Qing Sheng reporting. The largest school district